Welcome to Greek Geek Weekly, the Bob Ross of Greek New Testament translation. We are going to make a number of happy little accidents together.
And I know this is going to look like we're destroying everything. Don't worry about it. We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
And we are going to finish our first paragraph of First Peter. We now find ourselves on verses 8 and 9. I think we can do them both today as we work through it, although there's a lot of complex material here. So we'll do our best. We'll make some happy accidents along the way. We'll correct them. But let's get started in our time together. We're just seeing Peter just link these noun clauses together in a variety of ways. This whole sentence, and it is just reads like one big sentence, is this series of links between clauses. And it's no less the case here. We've got our relative pronoun is doing the linking work here. And with relative pronouns, we're looking for two things. We're looking for the noun that it is the pronoun for, the noun that it is replacing, the head noun. In this case, that's really easy. It goes right back here to Jesu Christu. We are continuing our previous thought that the tested genuineness of our faith might result in praise and glory and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. Jesus, who who is what? And so second thing, the first thing we need to do is what our pronoun goes with, and the second thing we need to do is how it fits in our overarching sentence. And for this kind of thing, a lot of times I think actually one of these old-fashioned syntax diagrams is really helpful. But naturally, reading through the sentence, I'm going to be looking for, since this is an accusative, it's an accusative pronoun. I'm going to assume that it is the direct object of a verb. I'm looking for the verb to hang everything, this direct object pronoun, off of. It could be a Dante's, but I've got a finite verb in this clause. I've got a real live verb with person, gender, and number, agapate. You love him. So that's how this is working. We've got the subject of love. I've got my verb, and then I've got my pronoun here, han, which then links back to the original noun that it modifies. Jesus, then, whom you love him, idantes, participle, adverbial. There's no article there, so it's just got to be an adverbial participle here. And with adverbial participles, I've got a lot of decisions to make. Is this as adverbial participle expressing concession or means or cause or reason, result, time, all of these different options? You'll find them in your grammar. I need to get us a good grammar to work off of digitally. All these different options. We can keep going though as readers just by doing like a having or an ing kind of clause with it. So Jesus, whom you love, having not seen. And that combo, right? I love him, but I don't see him, makes me think concession. I think this is a concession. This adverbial participle expresses concession. Great words for concession are although or but. So you love him, although you don't see him. Ace han, this time our clause is introduced by a prepositional phrase, but another then relative pronoun. There's no reason for me to question that this is also back to Iesu Christu. Ace han arti me harontes, pistuantes de ἀγαλλιάστε. To whom is my guess, but when I'm looking for my verb again, and I've got it here with ἀγαλλιάστε. You all rejoice, ace han, in him, or about him, probably respect there. You rejoice about them, and I'm thinking another concessive clause. Han arti me orontes. I'm going to look up horontes there from ὁράω. So it is from ὁράω, so a present active participle there. Catch sight of or notice with accusative. See a thing, visit, no. Experience a condition or event, no. Witness, no. Perceive, absolutely not. So ὁράω here, no funny business, nothing, it's not doing anything exceptional. So now not seeing. Pistuantes, we could do that me and kind of extend it over to pistuantes, but I don't think so. The de here kind of introduces a contrast. So you rejoice in him, though you don't now see him, believing, presumably, in him. So how do we want to do this? Because I've got a decision to make. Ace Han could be the direct object of ἀγαλλιάσθε, our finite verb. It could also be the direct object of pistuantes, our participle. Like the question is, what order does everything take place in? What's the main idea? Is it believing in him, though not seeing him, you rejoice? Or is it you rejoice is ace han, the does it go with ἀγαλλιάσθε, which is what I originally thought? Does it modify, is it prepositional with ἀγαλλιάσθε? You rejoice in him because you believe in him, even though you don't see him. Those are our two options. Again, a diagram might be helpful. Is it ἀγαλλιάσθε with the ace modifying ἀγαλλιάσθε, or should we wait for that ἀγαλλιάσθε until we get this whole clause kind of finished? And with the de here, I'm thinking it's that latter one. So I think my initial instinct, yeah, I think this preposition, and I've made a big mess here. I think that kind of what that serves to do is bundle this together as one single clause that is adverbially related to this ἀγαλλιάσθε. So having believed in him, pistuantes ace han. So I think this is incorrect. I think I'm believing in him, pistuantes ace han, and we connect that up to Christu, Jesu Christu. Pistuantes eis han, and although believing in him, though I have not seen him, this horontes. I think this is our thing. This is what's going on, and all of that then adverbial with you rejoice. Clear, super clear, I think. How do you translate that? You love him and you rejoice because you have believed in him, though you have not seen him. You rejoice, kara ἀνακλάλητο kai didaxos. You rejoice, kara, with joy. So this is one of those classic Greek things that you can do. You can take words that are in the same semantic domain that are synonyms or synonymous with each other and bundle them together, and so it just creates this emphatic situation. So you rejoice with joy that is ἀνακλάλητο, a word I don't know. So let's look it up. Looks to me like we've got a hapax legomena on our hands, a word that occurs just here in 1 Peter 1:8, and inexpressible. So that makes sense because laleo is our verb for speaking. So we're negating that. The fact that we have limited data, if we're really going to try to refine this a little bit more, I might pick a different lexicon. I might look it up in Liddell Scott. Well, after an extensive search, ἀνακλάλητος, I've turned up nothing. So that might be something, we want to start doing. Is there a reason to maybe look further? I'm going to highlight that as something that, maybe I want to do further work on that. But BDAG gives me a nice solution. Inexpressible makes sense because of the component parts of the word, but we don't get a lot of data, and so might be worth following up on at a later point. And with that, we come to didaxos, participle here, a perfect from doxazdo. And it's an interesting contrast. I've got an adjective as just kind of straightforward adjective on the one hand, and then a participle on the other. And with an interesting, by the way, parsing, that it's perfect. And I might be wondering, this is another spot where I might want to look up, why is that in the perfect? These two adjectival words back to back, and yet one of them's a verb, one of them's a standard adjective. Is there a reason for that? But again, we can take the shortcut here at this point and just translate that gloriously. So you rejoice, you are rejoicing, you rejoice with a joy that is inexpressible and glorious. Kamis dominoi. Another participle, lots of participles here. And as such, I want to think about its adverbial function. I've got a number of different options. You got to pick one. I'm going to go with reason just for now. Try it on for size, see how it works. If I don't like it, I can always change my mind. This can be one of those happy little accidents. So, having received, or since we will receive, ta telos, the end or the completion. Telos is a wonderfully rich word. It can be mature, complete, whole. It can be goal-oriented. There's a number of different senses that can have. In this case, we might actually want to leave it a little bit ambiguous, a little bit pregnant with meaning, and just go with the end of your faith. And we can't leave this passage actually without just at least observing the fact that we're not dealing with that all of our verbal action and Peter's audience is second person plural, that your faith is, this is something that you'll miss in the English translations, because, and you'll read it more principially than corporately, because you lose those second person plurals in English. So obtaining or receiving the end of your faith, which is to say, the salvation of your souls. Again, this is set into relationship, apposition with ta telos. So yet another one of these noun links that's taking place over the course of our paragraph. Now, with that, we've got a lot of complex material here. Let's summarize and see if we can't put together a nice, easy to read, and yet accurate English sentence for us for verses 8 and 9. So, whom you love, though you do not see him. And I think actually I want to make that its own sentence. I can perfectly free to do that in English. It's the series of nested ideas in Greek, but in English I can make this its own sentence. So you love him though you do not see him. Actually, I really want to keep these main finite verbs together. I could go in order, heis on arti me orontes pistuantes, and you believe in him though you do not see him. And by the way, I'm noticing here that we have this contrast of tenses to interrupt our translation. This is progressive and this is aorist. Different verbal stems. It's just strange that way. But these two different tenses of the same, essentially the same word. Do I need to bring that out in my translation? I don't actually think so. I think RT is going to do the work for us here. That now idea is going to bring out the continuousness, the emphasis that is there in the present tense of horontes. So I could go in order, but what I really want to do is keep these main verbs together. So you love him, though you do not see him. And you rejoice is the next thing I want to do. And you rejoice with joy that is inexpressible and also glorious. You rejoice with inexpressible and glorious joy because you believe in him, though you do not now see him. And, it's a trade-off. It's really hard to do. It's a trade-off because by the time I get to Kamis Dominoi, I want to establish that. I want to connect that up with the rejoicing too. You rejoice because you will receive the end of your faith. And because of English word order, the limitations of a word order based system, I can't do both things. I can't have both the you rejoice because you believe in him and you rejoice because you will receive the outcome of your salvation. I can't do them at the same time. So it's a trade-off there, but I have written what I have written. So you rejoice with a joy unspeakable because you will obtain the end of your faith, which is to say, the salvation of your souls. And so we have at least a preliminary translation. Feel free to add anything that you like, ask any questions. I would love it if you come up with a better translation that respects all of the kind of observations that we've made along the way. That's the whole point of this exercise. Comment, like, subscribe, pass this along to your friends so that I'll keep doing it. And in the meantime, take care.